Hello, in this episode we're going to be talking about updates to the XW project. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've never been here before or you haven't seen one of my videos in a while, which there hasn't been one, but never mind about that. This is Rob's Garage, I'm Rob, and this is my 1969 Ford Falcon project. I haven't done any updates in a little while, but I wanted to give you an update today on this panel here. Now, a couple of things. I lost the hard drive a little bit, and I don't really want to talk about this for too long, because I just want to get on with the episode. I lost the hard drive, I lost footage, I've got some stuff, and I wanted to pick up on where I was at. So a few things have happened since then, but I haven't posted a video. So I want to give an update on the panel, this left-hand guard. As you can see, there is some work being done on the doors and stuff here, but we can have a chat about that in some upcoming episodes. And I've started on removal of the quarter panel, and that'll be an upcoming episode as well. But in this episode, we want to talk about this left-hand guard. I'm going to show you some of the repairs I made on it. I have epoxied it. I've done the inside of the guard, and I'm going to show you a bit of that at the end, because I don't have the footage of the final repair of the rust section down the bottom here. So I actually repaired this bottom section here, and I've welded that up. We're going to look at the majority of that. Then I'm going to show you what I've done on the inside of the guard, and as far as I'm concerned, that panel is finished for now. It's in epoxy primer and good to go to probably some body filler and stuff when we get to that point. But anyway, let's get on with some of the footage from almost a year ago. We'll catch up with you in a minute. All right, so there's more work on the Falcon, and I'm working on the front guard, replacing the bottom section. So I've kind of made myself a patch, which seems like it's okay, but still needs a little bit of work with the shape, but it's not too bad. Let's take a quick look. All right, so I've got this piece welded in now. So I've just got a couple of welds in across here and some in across here just to keep it in position. I'm going to finish this off now, and then I can grind it all back, and then I might do the other side depending on how good the penetration is. But anyway, let's So this guard is, well, at least the brace part's pretty much finished. Show you under there. It's looking pretty good before I put the outer skin on. When we look on the inside, nice and smooth. Oh, I mean, I could probably fix that. weld that a bit more, but I think I'm just gonna leave it. We're never gonna see that, and it's pretty good the way it is. All right, it's time to put this patch panel in. I'm a bit iffy on how this is looking so far. Like, there's mainly on this side. This side's not too bad, but I've got these Malamotive clamps here. I'm gonna tack here where it's nice and flat, and I'll work my way around the panel, trying to tack where it's aligning, and then work my way around the other sides, trying to tap it and shape this metal to fit where I need it. All right, here is the patch panel tacked in. I've been playing around with this for a while now, just trying to get it as good as I can. I'm pretty happy with the fit, except this edge. I don't know if this should be that long. Maybe I'll have to do something here to extend it, or whether I shorten it, but I think I'll do a test fit because this was all repaired before. I don't know if this is a bit, how you going? I mean, the piece underneath wasn't that good anyway. Maybe I can just trim this back a bit, but we'll see. Otherwise, I'll have to think about how I add a little bit more of a line in there. But otherwise, it's really just got to be tacked all the way in. This edge is a little bit high, so I have kind of got this to come down a little bit. I mean, it's not in a place that's easily seen, so I've kind of tried to twist this back around. I feel like this is still needs to come back a bit, but otherwise it's ready to tack in, and I'll look at starting to cut a hole out for the guard bolt where it bolts in. But first I want to get this tacked in. Okay, so I've got that patch welded in. We'll have a look. I'm pretty happy with how it looks overall. So let's take a look. All right, so here we are. We've got the patch in. It's still a bit warm, but it's pretty much finished. I've got just, tack welds all the way around. There may be one or two more little welds, which I'll do, but I think that's enough for tonight. Tomorrow, I'm gonna grind the top off the welds, tidy it all up, make it look nice, and then have a look if there's any little pinholes and stuff that need to be re-welded, and sorted from there. So yeah, looking good. Okay, so we've got the guard here. So I've cleaned up all the inside of this guard, and I've spent a lot of time trying to get this clean. So this is about as far as I'm willing to go with it. I am going to clean up maybe some of these edges through here where you still got a bit of rust there, but down in here it's kind of pretty hard to get in there to get some of that rust. So I'm going to put some rust seal on the back of this section. I'm going to treat it with Aqua Clean, Rust Blast, and then the rust seal on the back of this and in the back corner here, and then I'll epoxy over the whole thing. On the inside here, I'm not sure if I'll do the same here. I'll have to think about that, but that's the idea. But I do want to get this whole guard in epoxy as well. You can see the repair I've done here for the bracket. I can get that in epoxy as well. So I just want to clean all this up and get that done, and just tidy up some of this, weld this back together. I was going to take this bracket out, but I decided against it. But yeah, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so I've used Aqua Clean just to clean up this guard. So I have sprayed it pretty much everywhere, all inside of there, underneath, etc., all along here. And just basically prepping the whole panel. Next, we're going to move to some rust blast, and I'm not going to use that everywhere. I'm pretty much going to use it on the inside of, you know, this light housing, inside there, up around the wheel arches, only around here where there's some surface rust, because I am going to rust seal that all around up here, etc. Anywhere else, and along this edge here where the guard sits on the top panel, and I'm going to rust seal all that, and then we can do the rest in epoxy primer over the top of that. All right, so I got the rust blast. Let's give it a go. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. I've just taped off the area, so I'm going to obviously paint on the inside of the tape and leave the rest for just epoxy primer. So all out inside there, done. Side of here, and leave this middle bit. Alright, so I've done the first stage of the inside of the guard. We'll have a bit of a look, but essentially, to recap, I'm putting KBS rust seal around the edge of a lot of the areas that had rusted previously. So I've treated it all, I've cleaned this countless times, trying to remove as much rust as I can. I don't think I can really take much more off, and I really don't want to spend any more time on this panel. The amount of hours I've spent cleaning this, I'd want to buy another one. So anyway, it doesn't matter. This guard, I think, is good enough to go back on the car, so I'm happy to leave it where it is. Let's have a look at the KBS rust seal on here. All right, so this is where we're at. We've got the rust seal just all around the edges, which is what I was looking to do. And that's really just to seal any rust, because that's where it was all sort of coming from. So up along the edges, along there, really just to stop any rust coming back. Although I'm pretty confident that most of it was pretty good. Up around here, all in here was really my main concern. So just tried to put as much in there as I can. I think I've got it. I might just get a torch in there and have a quick look, but I think I've got all that. And then we will epoxy prime in the middle, and we'll epoxy prime the whole fender, and then I'm going to put some bully liner over the top of that. Okay, so you can see I've taken all the tape off. There's a section here that I haven't touched yet, because I'm going to weld a patch panel in here. You can see all around the edge where I'd repaired this section, and on the bottom side here, I've just put KBS rust seal on most of this, but this is not all finished yet. So this has got to be treated a bit more. Around the edges here, this had all previously rusted, so I want to get some KBS rust seal on there. I've gone around all the edges with a sharp knife just to take off the bits that were coming through. But it looks pretty good. I've cleaned up all in this section here. I feel like it's actually good. Don't have any issues. Done this bit. All around the edges, this is where we saw some rust. There was mainly a bit of rust around here, rust around this back section. This is what was concerning me, and around here. So this is going to encapsulate the rust, and hopefully it's going to outlast me, because I don't plan on selling this car. Go to the front. I probably could have taped these up a bit better, but we do have some of that rust seal coming through. Now, if you do get a sharp knife, you can actually just scrape that off. Okay, to give you an example, and I've already taken some of this off. Basically, I'm just using this knife. It's not super sharp. It's got a bit of a sharper edge on it. If you just give this a light scrape, because this is not treated, that's the epoxy coating underneath, you can just scrape that off just with a knife. So not a big deal. I'm going to take this back a little bit anyway. So I've cleaned up all around the edges, all across the edge tops up here. Just trying to get rid of some of those, you know, bits that were sticking up on the edge. Because I am going to epoxy prime this again. Also on the inside, I'll clean all this up. We'll epoxy prime, we'll treat all this again one last time, then we'll epoxy prime all the inside. And then I don't think I'm going to put a base coat on. I'll probably just bully liner over the epoxy. That's the idea. Anyway, I think this is going to work. Never done this before, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to show you the inside of the panel. Obviously, you got to see up to where I did the welding repair. I don't have the footage of everything after that. Well, I did grind it down and try to make that as good as I could. I'm going to show you what I did on the inside of the guard. The outside has been epoxy primed, as you can see at the start of this episode. I want to show you what the inside looks like right now. Okay, so this is the inside of the panel. So what I've done is, you would have seen I've treated it with some rust seal all around the edges on the inside of the guards and stuff here. After that, I treated everything again on the bare metal, and I sprayed it in epoxy primer. So it's been fully epoxy primed. And then on top of that, I put some bully liner. So bully liner is a product that I've used. I actually really like it. It's like a kind of a stone guard. So I've stone guarded over the top of that. So it's just epoxy primer, then bully guard. Thinking back now, maybe I could have put some paint, but I didn't, and it's okay, because to be quite honest, the car is not going to be doing lots of outdoor miles in terms of rain and that sort of thing. So anyway, I think the guard has come up really well. It looks really good. I really like the texture of that. I've done the inside here. I've done my best to get in there. I mean, I spent a lot of time trying to get this clean. I think it looks really good, and I'm really happy with it. And I think, I'm hoping it'll last, or outlast me. But anyway, if it doesn't, you can always buy a new guard, but I think it'll actually be okay. Okay, just to give you an idea what's under the guard, I actually treated all the inside of the guard here, what I could. I've epoxy primed all that. I haven't got to the suspension bit, because all that's got to come out before I can actually do the rest of it. And there is rust repairs and stuff that are going to happen here before I do that. So yeah, but overall, this has all been epoxy primed to the top, and I'll probably start the engine bay soon. But before I do that, I need to do that back quarter panel. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. We've taken a look at that guard, and as you can see, the doors here have been done. I'll give you a quick look there. So I've reskinned all the doors. I've done the inside, outside, done the whole thing. They've been fitted to the car. There's still a bit of alignment and stuff to do. Probably still a bit of work on those doors, but I'll bring that to you in another episode. And on an upcoming episode, I'm actually cutting this quarter panel off the car. So I'm going to unpick all the spot welds, take that off. I've talked about some of this before. You can see I've taken the lead and stuff out of that. So yeah, I'll be taking that off. Big learning curve for me, but one day at a time, working on that. Inside that box is the replacement guard for this whole quarter to replace that bit. And we'll be talking about that in an upcoming episode. So if you're interested in sticking around to see what that's all about, we'll have a look at the panel. We'll have a look at some of the work I do when I get this guard off. And we'll bring that to you in another episode. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this sort of stuff, like and subscribe. Take care, look after your families, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.